All right, let's talk about something that can look really messy at first glance, radical expressions. Today, we're going to see how to take them from confusing and complicated to something, well, something really elegant.
So let's just jump right in with a question. What actually happens when you grab a calculator and punch in the square root of 72? Yeah, you get this monster of a decimal, right? It just keeps going on forever. And look, that's not wrong, but it's also not very precise. It's an approximation. And in math, we're all about precision. We want the exact value.
But what if I told you there's a better way? A more elegant way to write this number? A way that's perfectly precise with no messy decimals in sight.
Okay, so before we can start simplifying, we gotta know what we're looking at, right? Let's do a quick breakdown of the anatomy of a radical.
So every radical has three main parts. You've got the radicand, that's the number inside the symbol. Then there's the index, which tells you which root you're taking. And a little pro tip, if you don't see an index, it's always a square root, which means the index isn't invisible too.
All right, now that we've got the terminology down, let's get back to our friend, the square root of 72, and find that elegant answer. We're going to put it in what's called its simplest form.
The master key, the secret weapon for simplifying any radical, is something called prime factorization. Basically, we're going to break that number down into its most fundamental building blocks, its DNA, if you will.
So, how does this work? For the square root of 72, we break it all down into its prime factors. Now, because it's a square root, we're looking for pairs. Think of it like a nightclub. For every pair of numbers, one gets to break out and go outside the radical symbol. But any number without a partner, sorry, they have to stay inside.
And check it out. The 2 and the 3 that broke out get multiplied together on the outside. That gives us 6. That lonely 2 that didn't have a partner, it's stuck inside. And just like that, we've turned that ugly, long decimal into this clean, exact, and honestly beautiful expression, 6 times the square root of 2.
Now, the reason this whole pairing up trick works is because of a really important rule in math called the product property. It basically says you can split the square root of a product into a product of square roots. So think about the square root of 12. That's the same as the square root of 4 times 3. This property lets us split it into the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. And since we know the square root of 4 is just 2, the whole thing simplifies down to 2 root 3. See? That's the why behind our method.
Okay, so we know how to simplify them. Now what happens when we try to actually do math with radicals? Let's go over the rules of engagement for adding, subtracting, and multiplying.
When it comes to adding and subtracting, there's one golden rule. You can only combine like radicals. That just means they have to have the exact same number inside the radical, the same radicand. It's exactly like combining like terms in algebra. You know, you can add 5x and 2x to get 7x, right? Well, 5 radical 3 plus 2 radical 3 is 7 radical 3. But you can't add 4 radical 5 and 2 radical 3. They're just different things.
Multiplying is actually a bit more straightforward. You just multiply the insides together and put them under one big radical sign. So root 5 times root 10 becomes root 50. But, and this is super important, don't forget to check if your answer can be simplified. Just like we see here, root 50 can be broken down into 5 root 2.
All right, we've added, we've subtracted, we've multiplied. But what about division or radicals and fractions? This brings us to a major rule in math, and it has a great, easy-to-remember name. No radicals in the basement.
So there's another property called the quotient property that lets us split a radical that's over a fraction. But here's the thing. By convention, it's considered bad manners in math to leave a radical in the denominator, the basement of the fraction. It's really just about having a standard form, a way to make answers look consistent. To fix this, we have to do something called rationalizing.
So how do we get that radical out of the basement? We use a really slick trick called rationalizing. We multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction by whatever the radical in the denominator is. Now think about it. If you multiply by root 6 over root 6, you're really just multiplying by 1, right? So you're not changing the value of the number, you're just changing how it looks. And poof, the radical on the bottom disappears.
Okay, that's pretty easy for a simple denominator. But what if the basement's a little more crowded? What if you have something like this, with 2 terms down there?
For this, we bring in a special tool called the conjugate. It sounds fancy, but it's super simple. You just take the 2 terms in the denominator and flip the sign in the middle. The magic is what happens when you multiply them together. It's based on the difference of squares pattern you might remember from algebra, and it makes the radicals totally vanish.
So we do the same thing as before. Multiply the top and the bottom by this conjugate. And it's like a magic trick. The denominator becomes a clean, rational number every single time. It's an absolutely brilliant technique.
So, why are we doing all this? It can feel a little abstract, I get it, but simplifying radicals is a skill that shows up everywhere, from your geometry homework all the way to understanding the cosmos. Let's take a look at where these things pop up in the real world. I mean, radicals are essential for being precise in so many fields. Think about the most basic geometry, like a square with sides of length 1. What's the length of the diagonal? It's not a nice, clean number. It's the square root of 2, exactly. Using the simplified radical allows engineers and architects to work with that perfect distance. And that kind of precision is just as critical in physics, engineering, and even high-level finance.
But what we've covered today is really just the beginning. The world of radicals goes so much deeper, and it gets way more fascinating.
I mean, check this out. The legendary, self-taught mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan came up with these incredible, mind-bending formulas. Look at this one. It's an infinitely nested radical. It just keeps going and going forever. And somehow, this beautiful, complex, infinite thing simplifies down to just 3. It's just, wow, absolutely mind-blowing.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? What if simplifying isn't just about making the math problem easier to solve? What if it's about peeling back all the layers of complexity to find the hidden elegance and beauty underneath? It makes you wonder, what other simple truths are just waiting for us to find them?